After 15 years of marriage, my wife dressed up for a night out, preparing for a date with her lover. She leaned in close and whispered, "Jake, I need to feel young and wild again tonight." What she didn't realize was that I had already packed her bags and changed the locks on the doors. Meanwhile, her lover's wife was sitting at a restaurant, waiting for both of them with divorce papers in hand. For 15 years, Emily and I had built what seemed like the perfect life. We had raised 2 children, shared laughter over family dinners, and weathered the ups and downs of marriage. But lately, things had started to shift. What was once familiar and warm had become distant, almost secretive. Late nights at work, hushed phone calls, and the glow of her phone screen at odd hours replaced the quiet intimacy we once cherished. I noticed a change immediately. I had always been attentive, and Emily's behavior didn't go unnoticed. When I asked her about it, her responses were vague, filled with deflections and half-truths. As the cracks in our relationship widened, my mind raced with possibilities. Was she unhappy? Was I losing her? Rather than confronting her outright, I convinced myself it was just a rough patch, something we would work through like we always had. What I didn't realize was that Emily's need to feel young and reckless again was about to lead us both down a path of betrayal, heartbreak, and a shocking twist that would alter our lives forever. As I continued to observe the subtle shifts in Emily's behavior, my suspicions deepened. She spent more time on her phone, often smiling at messages she never shared. She began dressing up more frequently without offering any real explanation. These small changes gnawed at me, but the tipping point came one evening when I overheard a conversation. The words were muffled, but the tone was unmistakably intimate. Later, I caught a glimpse of a message on her phone, a confirmation of my worst fears. Unable to confront her immediately, I found myself spiraling into quiet paranoia. I paid closer attention, taking mental notes of her behavior. Errands that took longer than usual, unexplained absences, hours of unaccounted time. Each observation pushed me further into doubt and dread. The more I watched, the clearer it became that something was terribly wrong. Left with no choice, I knew I had to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Alone in the living room, I reflected on the 15 years I had spent with Emily, the love we had shared, the family we had built. The heartbreak was unbearable, but amid the pain, I resolved to stay calm and strategic. An impulsive confrontation would only lead to chaos. Instead, I decided to approach the situation with calculated precision. In that moment of clarity, I stumbled upon an unexpected revelation. Emily's lover was married, too. This realization sparked an idea. Rather than dealing with Emily alone, I reached out to the man's wife. I believed that by working together, we could uncover the full truth and hold both our spouses accountable. With a plan forming in my mind, I prepared myself for what was to come. My heartbreak turned into quiet determination as I set the stage for a confrontation that would change everything. Now that Emily's affair was undeniable, I put my plan into motion. I waited for the right moment, which arrived when Emily was upstairs getting ready for a date, completely unaware of what was unfolding beneath her. She spent hours preparing, perfecting her look for the man she believed she was meeting, while I worked on my own preparations. I started by packing her belongings into suitcases, each item a silent farewell to the life we once shared. I placed them neatly by the front door, a final statement marking the end of our marriage. Next, I changed the locks on all the doors, ensuring that when Emily returned, this house would no longer feel like home. Each turn of the key echoed through the silence, symbolizing my resolve to protect myself and our children from further pain. With everything in place, I took the final step, one that would ensure Emily's night of excitement turned into the biggest reckoning of her life. I reached out to Emily's lover's wife, a conversation that was both surreal and strangely liberating. As we spoke, we discovered that we had both been battling the same suspicions, each grappling with the painful reality of infidelity in our marriages. Together, we decided to meet at the restaurant where our unfaithful partners had planned their secret rendezvous, united in our goal to bring the truth to light. As the minutes ticked by, an unexpected sense of calm washed over me. The raging heartbreak that had once consumed me had now transformed into a quiet, unwavering determination. I knew that the aftermath would be chaotic, But in taking control of the situation, I found an odd sense of closure. With every element of my plan falling seamlessly into place, I braced myself for the inevitable confrontation, ready to face reality and reclaim my self-respect. Finally, the fateful night arrived. Emily, completely oblivious to the storm brewing around her, was filled with excitement. She spent hours preparing, carefully selecting her outfit, dressing in a way I hadn't seen her in years. Her enthusiasm was impossible to miss, though she attempted to disguise it with vague excuses about the so-called event she claimed to be attending. Just as she was about to step out the door, she turned to me with a sly smirk and whispered, "I need to feel young and wild again tonight." The words hit me like a hammer to the chest, but I refused to let my emotions betray me. Instead, I met her gaze with a calm, knowing stare, offering no reaction. As the door clicked shut behind her, I remained motionless, watching through the window as she drove off, my mind swirling with memories of the life we had built, the laughter, the struggles, the love that once held us together. And just like that, 15 years unraveled in an instant. Though sorrow threatened to consume me, I stood firm. There was no turning back now. At the restaurant, my plan unfolded with precision. Emily's lover arrived first, expecting a romantic, intimate evening. Instead, he was greeted by his enraged wife, who sat waiting, divorce papers in hand. Her voice, filled with fury, cut through the restaurant, drawing the attention of nearby diners. What was meant to be a night of passion quickly devolved into a humiliating spectacle. Moments later, Emily arrived, her face glowing with anticipation. But the moment she stepped inside and saw the chaos before her, the excitement drained from her expression. She froze, watching as her lover was confronted by his furious wife, the dreamlike vision she had crafted for the night shattering in an instant. Reality crashed down on her with brutal force. What was supposed to be a thrilling escape had turned into a very public nightmare, with her at the center of it. As Emily's world collapsed in the restaurant, I remained home, waiting in silence. I knew that before long she would return, find her suitcases neatly stacked by the door, and the locks on our home changed. Sure enough, my phone soon lit up with frantic messages, each one growing more desperate than the last. At first, they were filled with pleas and apologies. Then came the attempts to manipulate me into letting her back in. But I remained unmoved, ignoring every single message. My focus was no longer on the past, but on rebuilding the future she had so carelessly shattered. Though the pain of betrayal still lingered, I realized that this moment marked the start of life without deceit, without the weight of lies, and without the person who had shattered my trust. Exposing Emily's infidelity wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming my dignity. It was about finding closure, about refusing to let betrayal define me. Though I had lost 15 years of marriage, I had gained something far more valuable, the freedom to start over on my own terms. Sometimes, the harshest truths lead to the strongest resolutions.